Hello and greetings. My name is Michael Timmons. I am the author of the Lycan War Saga and the Shards of the Covenant series. Also the organizer for the Writer's Block Author Fair, which is held here in Toledo. This year it's going to be held October 22nd. If you're an author and you're interested in signing up, it's an awesome event. It should be lots of fun. I will put a link down below in either the comments or just in the video description, and you can click on that link to register for the event. Today we are going to be discussing Amazon Prime's Wheel of Time series, Episode 7, The Dark Within the Ways. This is going to be a spoiler review, so we will be discussing all of the episodes, including Episode 8. We will also be discussing, potentially discussing all the books from the Eye of the World all the way to the Memory of Light. So if you don't want any spoilers, if you haven't read books, if you haven't watched this show, I suggest you walk away and maybe join us again when you have actually caught up with everything. So what I like to do on these videos is I like to basically go through the episode and talk about the things that I like, talk about the things that I don't like, talk about basically how, if there's things that they think that they've done that may cause problems later on in the series, according as far as how the book structure works, and the book plot, the book series plot. So I try to get pretty honest, pretty open about what I like, what I don't like. It was a good season. It wasn't a great season. I think a lot of people can agree on that. I do see a lot of people, like, well, hey, they had to make changes because of and which I'm fine with. I'm okay with changes. I'm not a book purist. I'm okay with changes, as long as they make sense. As long as they still work within the world that the Wheel of Time world, and if they were just made for monetary reasons or time, given the fact that they had to only have hour episodes and only 8 episodes, that was kind of, I guess, part of the agreement with Amazon, that this is how much time we're going to give you. So obviously they had to make adjustments, they had to change things around. There was also COVID this time around, so that did cause some difficulties with some of the episodes. I get that, completely understandable, but there are some changes that they made that I personally, as of yet, don't make a lick of sense to me, and I don't agree with. And I will voice those opinions when I get to them, then. So, this episode, The Dark Along the Ways, probably has one of the best opening scenes. It shows, essentially, as we know, it was Rand's mom on Dragon Mount in the Blood Snow. It is a greatly choreographed scene. I know some people really kind of like, okay, but how could she fight when she's pregnant? And we know that the Aiel are very strong and sturdy, and I think a lot of times people are more judgmental about what a pregnant woman can actually do, what they're capable of. I mean, back in the frontier days, pregnant women, they were farming, and they were doing chores, they were doing everything up until birth, essentially. So it makes perfect sense to me. I don't have any problem with it. So we'll go ahead and get started here. So obviously we start out, it looks like it's near the end of the battle. She's running through a field. There's all these people, there's bodies. We see a lot of the Ilianer crest and stuff like that. She is veiled. I know some people are like, oh my god, she's not veiled, because in some of the scenes she wasn't, but that makes perfect sense. And she's running, she's in labor, she's got her spears, which is awesome. One thing I didn't notice before that I just noticed now, because I think I was more focused on what was happening right in front, is there's like fireballs or like catapult shots that are on fire, or trebuchet shots that are on fire, that are striking Dragonmount for some reason. Like someone's attacking Dragonmount, and I don't know why they would be attacking Dragonmount. That doesn't make any sense. That wasn't the purpose here, so doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So, you know, she gets to this point where she's pretty much about ready to give birth. She unveils, which perfectly understandable, and then she gets attacked. She kills one soldier fairly quick, and then we see that she's another soldier shows up. She fights that one and throws her spear, and so she's killed 2 so far. And she's already got 2 more coming towards her. So she's fighting these 2. She's doing a really good job of, and then we see a 3rd one show up. So she basically engages the 3rd one. Really, the whole choreograph scene is really done well. So she knocks over 2 of them. She kills one of them, but of course, and meanwhile she's in labor, so she's breathing hard. 2 come to fight her. She kills them. She kills the other one. Oof. But she really gets she gets stabbed in the side, which, you know, pretty much that's the wound that actually is going to kill her. So once again, she fights through it, and like I said, it's just amazing fight scene, really good. And she goes to give birth, and somebody fight shows up, and we know that's basically Tam.
You know the darkness in him. You know it better than anyone. Do you really think he's ready for what lies ahead?
And of course. And basically, we're in the waves now. It's obviously really dark. They do have a little argument about Matt, you know, leaving Matt behind. Moraine says, "Well, you know, there's darkness in him. You know, it was probably best we left him behind." Obviously, they had to leave Matt behind because the actor did not, Barney Harris did not come back for episode 7 and 8. He, after COVID, he for which we still don't know why. I'd still be curious. I know everybody's like, well, it's not really any of our business. We don't really need to know. I just hope him well. I mean, yeah, do I need to know? No. Is it really in my business? No. But I'd like to know. I would really like to know why he decided not to come back. Was it because of COVID? Was it the COVID restrictions? Was he afraid or fearful of getting sick? What was it? You know, I would just like to hear from him. I mean, hey, if it's his choice, I'm cool with it. I mean, it's a shame. He was a good actor. I would like to have seen him continue, but he made a choice. He decided not to continue with the show. Just kind of curious as to why. It would be interesting to know. But like I said, yeah, it's none of my business, but that doesn't mean I don't. There's a lot of things in this world that's none of my business. Doesn't mean I still don't want to know. So I know everybody's magnanimous about it and like, oh, well, you know, it's really none of our business. Whatever. Yes, it's none of our business, but, you know, spill the tea. Tell us what's going on. Now, in the ways.
How? We can barely channel
Unfortunately, reopening the way gate would be impossible. There cannot be any use of the one power.
So here, this is where Loyal tells that they
Hold yourself at my...
tells them that they can't use the one power because the one power will draw Mashashin in the Black Wind.
We, Ogier, are not known for our speed. If you'll excuse me.
Listen, this is Matt we're talking about. We can't just leave.
Rand continues to try to say, you know, hey, we need to do something. You know, we can't leave him.
He left us.
And you know, Legwyn's like,
You don't actually believe that, do you?
And what are we going to do? We can't open the way gate.
We can't find our way out of here without them.
Should we just sit down and die?
and basically, you know, it's an impossible situation. Like Rand wants to go back or do something to get Matt, but you know, they don't know how to open the way gate. They can't open the way gate. The other people are not going to open the way gate. The other way to get around the way gate are with Moraine, Land, and Loyal, and they're moving forward. So basically, they got to do what they got to do.
See that?
You know, so Nynaeve's like, you know, hey, once this is all done, we will get Matt. We'll find Matt. Now, the ways itself.
What if it's...
For the dragon to turn.
I didn't really like. I didn't think it looks good. It doesn't. It's not definitely not what I pictured, and obviously, you know, what I pictured may not have been possible. I understand, but it looks, for me, it looks too much like an obvious set piece. It just looks so incredibly like fake and produced. If that makes sense. I mean, some things do, some things don't, but this is
Soft. Or worse.
There's something worse than falling into a bottom.
And then, you know, Loyal talks about, tells us a little bit about the ways. We see a little bit more when the lightning strikes, but I mean, there wasn't even supposed to be lightning in here. I don't know. I get it. It's drama. You know, it creates drama to see the lightning and all this stuff, and creates more of an atmosphere, and maybe to show it the way it's explained in the books would have been less interesting. I don't know. It's without seeing it tried. It's hard to say, but you know, it was the darkness itself, the absolute darkness, which is really hard to do, obviously, filming wise. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure if I could figure out a better way to do it, but I just didn't really think it was done well.
3 silvers.
You were scowling. I bet I'm pouting. Wait! There's something up there.
And, you know, here we see the parents see something long before they do. So kind of get the, you know, now we see that he's starting to see stuff well in the dark.
It's one of the guiding stones, but
So they come across one of the guiding stones, and it's obviously been damaged. So
no
now,
very strange.
now we know that the
No Ogier would deface a guiding.
Trollocs are in the ways.
As if someone's trying to destroy it. Keep people from finding their way.
But can you still read it?
I'll ask for your patience.
He's asking for patience. No, I can't.
We'll rest here while Loyal works out the correct.
Did you see that? I don't know. There's something following us.
So they start talking about, so there's something following them. See, and here we go. We see Bran and Egwene kind of lay down together to snuggle up, and we see they show they show Perrin being upset about this. This is once again kind of implying that there's some interest from Perrin to Egwene, which then they play off as nothing later. I don't understand the whole way that they explain this. To me, it just seems very silly. So then we hear whistling in the darkness. So when we hear whistling, we know that it's Pot and Fane. And
Did you?
What is it?
and Egwene hears it. Once again, Egwene always seems to hear Pot and Fane's. So, and then Trolloc shows up, and to attack Egwene and Rand, we see some one power being used, knocks the Trollocs off the thing.
A Trolloc on the waves. That should be impossible.
Explains how they reached the two rivers undetected.
And what happened to the guiding?
Did it just get a lot colder in here?
Oh dear.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to channel.
What is Machin Shin?
It translates from the old tongue to mean the black wind.
And what exactly is the Black Wind? Machin Shin will speak to you. Do not listen.
We'll never make it to a way gate. How far are we from the gate to fall down?
It's closer, but I
Take
don't...
us there.
Go!
So then they decide to go to Faldara because obviously they start to sense Mashishin coming. We see Pot and Fane there as the lightning shows up.
Come on! Quickly! Go! Hang on!
And so this part just, as they run through the ways, it just, like, I don't know. Like I said, the ways to me just, like I said, I think obviously the set piece was designed to create tension because it has all these pillars and it kind of weaves in and out, so it makes running like difficult to do. So it makes them trying to avoid Mashishin, more of a dodging into things, and I guess it creates tension. But like I said, I personally didn't really care for the ways. I did not think they were done well. I did not think that they matched the books very well. Which like I said, they didn't have to, but. Then there's this part where they had to walk through this narrow spot for some strange reason. Like why would they have built that in the ways? It didn't make any sense. The ways were broad, wide paths. Yes, they did have some deterioration where they were breaking apart. But it gave you the sense that these were once built as magnificent, just glorious pathways through this nether space, and here it just looks like a what it looks like. You know what it reminds me of? This reminds me of like one of those modular pieces that you could use for D&D, for Dungeons and Dragons, on one of those hex boards that you could make like little pathways with. These things. That's what it reminds me of. So we get to the Waygate. The Black Wind reaches. Now they changed the Mashishin. Obviously, in the books, Mashishin never reaches them. They always avoid actually getting hit by Mashishin because basically, to be touched by Mashishin is essentially, it drives you mad and you're dead. I kind of like the change here. Basically, like whispers to them their fears essentially, and what they're afraid of.
Fraud. Egwene will never love you. You can't protect her. You'll watch her die. These others one by one until you have nothing in your world.
While it looks like Nynaeve's about ready to. So it looks again like Nynaeve's going to the edge, and Lan's like, "No, you're thinking that she's going to jump off." But once again, we get this big one power usage by Nynaeve. I don't like it. I didn't really like episode 4. I thought how she healed everybody. it's we know that she's very powerful. She's very powerful in the books. She's very powerful in the One Power, but they keep having these big shows from her, and I think it's just over. It's over. It's too much, because there's no, like they're setting the bar so far up already that, the stuff that she does later, like there's no growth. It's just like now we're putting her at a 10. She's already at a 10, and then there's no growth for her later on. So I just don't like it. So she does some sort of One Power shield, essentially keeps Masashin at bay, giving Moraine a chance to open the gate. So they leave, and they are out in Faldara. And now what I do like about this is when they all go out,
Well done. All of you.
we see the looks on all of their faces, and they looked wrecked. Especially Moraine. Her eyes are, she's got bags in her eyes, her red around them. And he just looks upset. Perrin
Where are we?
looks hurt.
The fortress city of Faldara.
Rand just is looks like devastated.
The eye of the world is a day's walk beyond the city. But rest is close at hand. We have friends in these borderlands.
So they're here at Faldara. Rand, just looks, like I said, he looks messed, and
Whatever it was you heard in the wind, put it out of your minds.
now Moraine says, hey, whatever you heard, put it out of your minds. Notice she doesn't say, whatever you heard in the winds isn't true. That it was all lies or deception. She doesn't say that because she could be lying. Faldara looks amazing. It looks like a really cool looking keep.
How long has it been since you last walked through this gate?
And
Daishan, on behalf of Lord Agumar, I welcome you back to Faldara.
Welcome home, you bloody great bastard.
and we see Uno. One Eye Uno. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Uno's character. I know he's a good actor. I just don't see him as being Uno. Now we see Lord Agumar here. Acted really well, and I love his outfit. It's got the wings from like the Black Hawk and Faldara. This little confrontation between Agumar and Moraine, obviously
Your presence warms me, Daishan.
a bit different than,
And you, Moraine, said I.
how they portray their relationship in the books. Because in the books, obviously, they have a very deep respect for Moraine and, well, Aes Sedai in general, but Moraine a lot because of her relationship with them and such. But here he's very
What do you owe this
confrontational.
pleasure?
I'm here with a warning.
Let me guess. This anxious sister of mine wrote to the White Tower with overblown stories of the encroaching blight and Trolloc raids.
And he just is like,
I
hey, so the
appreciate
White
the
Tower's, meddling basically in my affairs.
Will be able to protect its own.
My lord, I can assure you that neither I nor any Aes Sedai doubts your ability to keep the blight
I
at
should
bay.
hope not. We have guarded Talwyn's Gap for 1,000 years, and fought off armies of Trollocs that would make even an Aes Sedai blush. I appreciate you making the trek to the borderlands, but I fear you may have done so in vain.
Lord Agumar, if you'll allow me to finish. I have no intention of advising you. A lord should protect his land as he sees fit. I am simply here with a warning. The Dark One has begun to use the ways to move his armies.
You know, and when she finally
Now,
gets
well,
out,
behooves you to guard the gap.
you know, when he finally lets her speak, you know, she's like, "Hey, I'm not here to tell you what to do, but you know, hey, the Trollocs may show up behind you, and yeah, you guarding Charwin's gap may not help, may not be enough. So
As your family has always done, it
maybe
might
you
be
should
prudent
watch your
to have
back."
A group of men wall up the Faldaran Waygate as well.
And I mean, at least Agumar has some good gracious here.
Do what she says.
And apologizes and, you know, trying to basically.
I offended you. You and your companions are welcome here as long as you wish. The Borderlands have a long history of mutual support with the White Tower. That will not change while the Black Hawk still flies.
Thank you, my lord.
So then we get to see the ways again, and we see Pot and Fane coming out of the ways. Now, in the bonus footage, which I think would have been nice to see here, is you get to see he has the Avazadora leaf that is used to open the waygates in the books, which I think was important to see here, because as far as we know, only the Wood Power does it, so.
Your chambers are this way. A room fit for an Aes Sedai.
While I'm here, I thought I might pay Min a visit. I presume she still resides in the city.
So this is where we find out about
I
Min.
wish to speak with her.
Why not?
My philosophy as well. My brother begs to differ.
Of course he does. Why would he?
Ask.
And while your power may not have been strong enough to become one of us,
So, and then here we do a little exposition. They talk to between Moraine and Lady, and I don't know, her name is gone out of my mind, but Agumar's sister, about, you know, her time in the White Tower. So we learn a little bit about the fact that, you know, you can go to the White Tower, and you may not be strong enough to stay in the White Tower. So that's a nice little way to tell us a little bit more about the Aes Sedai and, you know, the requirements to become Aes
I hope
Sedai.
I might still trust your
So the Marine then also tells her to send a message to the White Tower,
I need a message delivered
to the
Gorge
Red
and Ice
Sisters, about Matt Coffin. Now, I don't know why she would do that. I don't think she really believes that he has the use of the One Power. So I don't know why she would send the Red Sisters after him. It's very confusing. I think that was. It was put in to push the narrative of the show, and that doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make sense. We see them walking through town. Rand is obviously very
What is it?
distracted.
It's the wind.
It's very upset. Perrin sees Pot Fane.
What's gotten into you?
I could have sworn I just saw Padden Fane walk past us.
The peddler. Perrin. Padden Fane's dead. He was there on Beltane when the Trollocs came.
And Nynaeve tells him that I see, here's the part I don't understand. So Nynaeve's like, no, that can't be Pot Fane. He died. He was there at Beltane. Well, first of all, not everybody died in Beltane, so everybody that was there didn't die. Nynaeve was dragged off by a Trolloc in the middle of the battle. So how would she even know if Pot Fane died or not? She wasn't there when they gathered up the bodies of the people that were killed. So there's no way she would know. Now, this may have been something that was
Seems like a different life, doesn't it? Beltane.
adjusted because of the fact that Barty Harris was there, and they had to change a little bit of the story. So they go to the tavern where we see Min, and
Thank you.
They don't eat chicken or beef.
The way the leaf
the
is
parent talks a little bit more about the way of the leaf, do no
The whole
violence.
world didn't be much better off.
Moiraine's like, I couldn't do this
I'll
whole.
tell you what. Dinners with the travellers were better than anything you had. All of you. What is she up to?
And what's of course Nynaeve
No,
is.
no one does, thanks to Aes Sedai.
Of course, Nynaeve is always, watching Moraine to see what she's doing, and she's always, she just doesn't trust her at all. So Moraine asks Min what she sees. So we get to see a little bit of Min's
The big
viewing.
brooding one has.
They're both big. And they both brood.
There's a good line too, because Min's like the big brooding one, and Moraine's like they're both big and they both brood. Truth.
The one on the left
So she's like the one on the left, which is
has
parent,
yellow eyes.
yellow eyes,
Down his chin.
and blood on his chin. So we see that
And redhead is rocking a baby.
Whose baby?
she sees Rand with a baby, which I don't know where that's from. I don't know if that is supposed to be a vision of his fake vision that Ishmael shows him in episode 8 of having a baby, or what it's supposed to mean, or if it's future of him having the baby.
No idea, looks like any other baby.
And the girls?
So then she asked me about the
White
girls
flame
with white flame.
in a ring of gold. I don't know.
But she doesn't
But
explain.
all linked, all four of them.
Is that unusual?
But they don't show us who has the white flame and who has the ring of gold, which obviously is on purpose. And then she says
I
that
see
they're
sparks
all
of light trying to fill the shadows, and the shadows
connected.
trying to swallow the sparks. Not particularly. Don't look at me like that. I see the Amaryllin seat, and she's wearing full regalia, and she's going to be your downfall.
And then Mill tells Moraine that the Amaranth seat is going to be her downfall. And which we don't know. That could mean a variety of things. It could mean when Elida becomes Amaranth and, goes after Moraine because of it. Or it could be,
We leave tomorrow at sunrise.
it could be Swan
washing.
when she gets deposed, and because she gets deposed, then they're after Moraine. It could mean a lot of different things.
That bartender.
So they ask
A
about
woman I've
Min.
known since she was young. Stop lying to us. You forget, girl, that I cannot lie. No matter how much I wish I could.
So Nynaeve's like,
She sees glimpses of the pattern.
she asks about Min, and Moraine's like, it's just somebody I know since she was a child, and Nynaeve's like, don't lie to us, and Moraine's like, I can't lie, even though I would want to. But she kind of does force Moraine to explain herself for her future.
And I hoped she'd tell me which of you is the dragon so I could save the rest. I don't want you to die, any of you. But whichever of you goes to the eye of the world and is not the dragon, you will die there.
So she says, hey, when we go into the fight, the eye of the world to fight the Dark One, if you're not the dragon, you will die there. Which, I don't know how she could know that. I mean, she just is supposing that might be the likely outcome.
Ground to dust.
But she
between two forces of
should just say, like, I believe you will die there. But basically she drops it on them.
Which one of us is it? She doesn't know. And so tomorrow I will take all of you to the eye, knowing that 3 of you will not return.
How can you be so sure?
Min doesn't know.
Like, isn't there a chance that Matt's the dragon? That we survive? But you're wrong.
It's easy to use doubt as a crutch. But doubt is the first step towards surrender to the dark.
And
Look, I didn't choose this path for myself any more than you did. But I will follow it because I must. Because I know what is right. Powerful as you are, I don't think you can drag the 4 of us there against our will. Running, hiding, won't save you from the weaving of the pattern.
And Nynaeve's like, hey, you can't force us to go.
Make your decisions tonight, then.
And she's like,
We leave at dawn.
Moraines like, yep, you're gonna have to make your decision to come with me or not. And we leave at dawn. So then we get this little thing where
And that's what we're still doing.
Egwene basically is like,
No
hey,
matter the cost.
we knew this was what we need to do to save not only our village but the world, and so it's the right thing to do. We're gonna do it. A really good personal thing from her. Really like to show
The
it.
dragon reborn being one of us. We only believe it because she told us it's true.
She can't lie.
That doesn't mean she can't mislead.
And
You think she just learned today that the rest of us will die now?
And even if she thinks she's telling the truth, she could be wrong.
and they point out some really good things here. They start talking about Moraine. It's like, like she can't lie, but she can mislead, like Rand says. Obviously she probably knew that one of us was going to die if they go to the Eye of the World, but she just brought it up now. And like Nynaeve says here, just because she thinks she's telling us truth doesn't mean that she can't be wrong. And what this speaks to the prophecy, the way they've used prophecy so far in the show. It's very old. It could be wrong. And even though if you believe it to be true because that's what you're told, that doesn't mean it's right.
About us, about all of it.
I'm not doing this because Maureen said we should. Or because I'm convinced she even knows exactly what she's talking about. I want to go to the Eye of the World because if there's even a chance she's right, then it's worth it.
And Egwene, really,
You wouldn't think twice.
and she's like, hey, it's the right thing to do. We need to do this. And she points out to Nynaeve that, hey, if Moraine wasn't involved in this, you wouldn't think twice. It's just because you're so proud.
You do it.
And she,
We've lost
she's
too
right.
many people already. What if none of us are the dragon? What if it is man?
Come on.
Perrin's like, well, what if it's Matt?
Why couldn't it be him?
And Egwene's like, come on.
You've never thought much of him, have you?
Rand,
You never gave him a chance.
Rand's like,
You never really got to know him. If you had, then you'd know how hard he's had it, how he fights to get by. He doesn't have much. What he does have, he gives to his friends, to his sisters, to us.
All right,
he
stop.
left us, Rand. You saw his face just the same as I did. He probably went back to Tarvalon for that bloody stolen
You don't
dagger.
know anything about
He
that.
left us.
and Egwene's like,
Well, I guess you're the expert on that, aren't you?
What is that supposed to mean?
You're the only one who's ever really known me. Don't speak to her like that!
Stop it.
Excuse me? You owe her an apology.
For what? Betrayed?
Stop. Just stop. I am so tired of you two fighting over her like she's something you can win.
and now we have this part here, and I hate it. I absolutely hate this part. So, Rand's like, hey, once again, you're the only one who's left me, blah, blah, blah. And Perrin's like, hey, don't talk to her like that. You should apologize to her. And then Nynaeve's like, I'm so tired of you two fighting over her. And she's like, oh, why did I say that? Oh my gosh. I can't believe I said that. This whole Perrin liking or loving or having an interest in Gwen, it's just stupid. It's just so not necessary and dumb.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
And Rand's like, wait, what? And Perrin even is like,
It's
oh,
been right in front of me this whole thing and I got together.
The only woman I've ever loved was my wife.
and then Perrin's like, the only woman I've ever loved is my wife. And he even says it in like a growly voice, which is just stupid. This whole scene is just, I'm sorry, I hate this scene. It's just dumb. I don't like the choices they made in it. This episode's really good, but this whole chunk right here, from the moment Gwen starts talking about Matt and then that with Perrin and Nynaeve, it's just stupid. It's really dumb.
How come?
The air in these borderlands, there's something about it. And more.
You have taken nothing from me.
And then,
There's more to life than me.
you know, Moraine kind of has this discussion with Lan about, you know, his choices and her choices, and, you know, it's kind of like her way of saying, it's like, there's no reason for you to die tomorrow, you know, because she knows that if they all go, or she believes if they all go to the Eye of the World, that, you know, only the dragon will survive, and so she's basically telling him, like, you know, hey, you know, there's no reason for you to die. You have more to this life than just me and this mission, you know. And Lan, of course,
Before you,
Lan's like, you know, I made this
Aren't there
decision.
goodbyes you need to make in this city before we go?
You know, Lan's like, I made the decision a long time ago that this is what I was going to do. So we have a weird scene where we have Lan going to meet with some other Valkyrie, some family of Valkyries, and Nynaeve kind of is spying on him, and she's watching him, but then he disappears and shows up behind her. Like, I don't know how he did that, teleporting. And so he invites her in.
Lovely. Thank you. Very sweet.
And so they have a nice little conversation, and then they leave at the door. And Lan, of course, is like, I can't do anything here with you. And so he's goes to his room, and Nynaeve basically comes into the room, and you know, they decide to have some sets of time. Some sets of time. So then we go to Rand. He's shooting arrows. He's not doing a very good job of hitting, which we know is just weird because he's very good at
I
arrows.
waited in my room for an hour for you to come and apologize.
I found through hard-won experience that when you're actually ready to talk, you find me.
So Gwen comes down, and
I'm sorry.
Why I'm angry with you. How dare you think for even a second that I don't care about Mac?
I still am.
and you know, they basically,
You won't?
Whatever happens, at the eye.
you know, and Rand, of course, at this point, he really knows that he's dragon, and
You need to go to the White Tower.
he knows that he's going to leave them at this point. So he's like, you know, hey, whatever happens tomorrow, you know,
Do you really think I'll let someone else be yours?
go back to the White Tower. So Egwene and Rand, they also have some sets of time. So
given to future kings of Makia,
this part where Lan tells Nynaeve where he's from, that he's Valkyrie, that he's going to be he's essentially the future king of Valkyrie.
I'll lean away those kids on you.
And they have a nice little discussion. They're like, you know, it's like, oh, well, you know, Moraine owns you, and he says, like, only in the way that, like, the kids own you. You know, basically, it's more of an obligation for them. So, then we go back to seeing Rand and
I'll get you there.
Egwene, and Rand starts to remember.
Carrie?
We get to see what we know from the first book, the fever dream that Tam has when Rand's trying to take him into the Two Rivers.
Carrie, it was so hard.
And
I didn't mean to find her had to get away.
So basically tells, this is the part where we find out Rand is naive. So we go back to seeing Rand starts to shoot the bow again. And obviously he's made his final decision. He's confident in the decision he's made, that he's going to tell Moraine that he's the Dragon Reborn and go to the Eye of the World with her. And then, so now we get to see basically all the signs before. We see
That door is made of iron.
we see Rand bust down the ironwood door using the one power.
3 men inside can break it.
We see Rand using the one power to fight off the Trolloc in the ways. So,
It's you. You've always known it's you.
and we see the Mashishin tell him that he's the Dragon Reborn, and he's always known that.
Did you know it was coming?
Yeah, so it comes to the territory.
And then he goes to see
What do you
Min.
want?
I want you to tell me that I'm not the Dragon Reborn.
Okay, you're not the Dragon Reborn.
Don't have to protect my feelings.
I definitely don't care how you feel. You're just another guy in another bar that wants something from me.
I think we got off on the wrong foot. I'm sorry, I didn't even introduce myself.
I know who you are.
So he goes back to meet
Look
Min,
me in the eye and tell me that you want to know what I've got to say.
and
Because once you do, there's no turning back.
they have this nice little exchange where she's like, "Hey, look me in the eye, tell me what
It
you."
was the first vision I ever had. I was a kid,
Um,
walking down a damp alleyway in Tyrone.
so she tells him that basically,
And when I turned a corner, I saw a man in armor carrying your heron-marked blade.
saying basically she saw Tam.
And when I looked at him,
When she was
I
younger,
saw a baby born on the slope.
and
And I
saw
raised
Rand
him
being born.
in a wood. And that baby was something impossible.
And basically that, she saw Tam, she saw him find Rand and then raise him, and that the baby was the Dragon Reborn. Essentially is what she says.
What do you see now? Why you look at me?
Rainbows and carnivals and 3 beautiful women.
And so she asks, what do you see now? And she says, rainbows, carnivals, and 3 beautiful women.
You see
Of course, we know the 3 beautiful women is actually true.
the world.
Wish I didn't.
Why?
You seem like a decent person.
Do I make it back? I didn't think so.
So, she's like, he asked her, do I make it back? And she doesn't respond, so she's like, okay, I guess, he's like, I didn't think so. So he thinks he's gonna die at the end of the world.
Nynaeve?
So then we go and we see Egwene goes to Nynaeve's room and sees that the bed has not been slept in, so she puts 2 and 2 together, and she waits for Nynaeve to come back on the bed, and Nynaeve comes in, and
Where have you been? Nowhere. I mean, you've been somewhere. By the looks of this perfectly made bed, it wasn't in your room. I couldn't sleep.
so they have a nice little jokey-talkie. So now we know that somebody's approaching, and it's Perrin, and Perrin shuts the door, and
So, what did you decide?
And so Nynaeve's like, what did you decide? And Perrin's like, Egwene's like, obviously, she's like, I already told you last night
I want to go.
that she wants to go. Perrin nods his head. And Nynaeve, of course, is like, well, I can't go anywhere with,
Where's Rand?
and then Egwene's like,
Assumed he was with you.
where's Rand? So then we see Rand walking. They do the whole fake door thing where he goes up to a door. We think it's going to be obviously where he's going to come in to the room full of that with Egwene and Nynaeve and Perrin, but it's not, because even Nynaeve goes to answer the door and it's Lan.
What happened?
And but also this is like at night, not.
It's me.
And Rand tells Moraine that it's him.
Moraine Master Bond.
And then we see Lan says, Moraine Master
Yeah,
Bond.
it's,
She left.
by herself.
Rand.
Now, this is when we get to see the blight, which I get they had to redo this whole thing because of COVID. They had to make, I don't know what they did, but the whole blight is just horribly done. Like I said, I know they had to make adjustments because of COVID, but I can't imagine they couldn't have found a desolate looking place that they could have filmed in that was not this overgrown mass of trees. It doesn't make any sense. How could the Trollocs get an army through it? And more importantly, here they're going through the blight to get to the Eye of the World. The Trollocs are coming through the blight to get to Tarwin's Gap, which is basically right where they're going and right where they came from. And they didn't run into each other, didn't see each other. It's really just a bad choice of. Like I said, I know they were scrambling. I get it. I just can't imagine they couldn't
What is that?
found a
The blight.
better
We have to go through it to get to the Eye of the World.
better example of what the blight could have been, should have been, and should be more open, more desolate, more like almost like a desert-ish type thing. And so they start going through, and some Moraines moving stuff with their arms, not touching anything. And you see there's like skulls twisted into the branches, which that's kind of cool. But like I said, the whole visual of the blight is just, I don't think it's very good. So that is the end of the episode. Like I said, it's a good episode. Especially, it's got the best cold open among any of the other ones. The whole blood snow fight is done so well. Some of the choices that they made, like I said, the blight looks really bad. There was a lot. I know that was a lot determined by COVID. I just really can't imagine they couldn't have found some place that they couldn't have, morphed a little bit to make it a deserty, tundra-ish, blighty area than this overgrown mass of vines and trees that just looks like impossible that they would get an army through it. It just doesn't even make sense. So that was one of the choices I didn't like. And then of course the furtherance of the whole Perrin likes Egwene drama, it was something that they did throughout the whole season that was done really bad and poorly. It just wasn't handled well. And the culmination in this episode of it, once again, even further wasn't handled well. I wish they had left that out of the whole season. It wasn't necessary. It didn't further the plot along. Didn't really create any additional tension or anything between the characters that really was necessary. And I think it got a lot of people kind of being more kind of more wondering what was going on and why it was going on, and it just implied that there was an existence of something there that they did not back up with any other facts or any other show of anything. And I'm glad it's done. and not going to be brought up again. I'm hoping, really hope. So now we can move forward in season 2, and we don't have to talk about Perrin and Egwene and any of that. It just doesn't make any sense. Didn't like it. Doesn't make any sense. So, I hope you enjoyed my spoiler review of episode 7, The Dark Within the Ways. The Dark Along the Ways. Tell me what you think. Did you like the episode? What was your favorite part of it? I hope you're enjoying it so far. I enjoyed it. Like I said, there were just some things that I thought that they should have changed, done differently. But for the most part, I really liked the episode. And as always, if you are enjoying my videos, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and by all means, comment down below. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think of the episode. Tell me what your favorite episode was so far. Tell me what you're looking forward to in season 2. Let me know. Let's have a discussion about this. I would love to talk to you about these future episodes and the episodes that we've covered so far. So, until next time, have a good day.